We're not done yet.
Welcome back to more Star Fox 64. Last time, we got through Titania and Bulls. So this time, we're finally at Andross' homeworld of Venom. This is a pretty fun final stage for this route. There are plenty of obstacles and enemies to deal with, and it's honestly really fun to go for a high score given just how many enemies there are. We're at the beginning of the stage, and we already have 40 points. So the medal score for this is 150 points, which doesn't seem too unreasonable under the circumstances. If you manage to lock onto a large group of enemies and take them out with one charge shot or a bomb, you will get plenty of bonus points as well. So we also have branching pathways, which helps to give some incentive to replay this stage. I do like how even in stages that don't have any branching pathways to different levels, there are plenty of reasons to see a stage multiple times. Which is good, because there's actually no level select, meaning if you want to see a stage again, you have to play through the main game. The 3DS version does have a level select though, a score attack mode more specifically. So we're kind of following Falco because he tends to go through very dangerous routes with a lot of enemies. I've noticed that the other characters go through routes that have more obstacles to worry about. So if you want to get points, try to follow Falco whenever possible. So we're 2/3 of the way to the medal, which isn't bad. And we should be getting fairly close to the first checkpoint. And there's a gold ring there. We got the health extension, which is very good for this level, being the final level of this path. Alright, we reached the first checkpoint, so up ahead...
That temple gives me the creeps. What's going on? He's running away.
Stay alert! Don't get too close, Fox!
So before we get to Andross, we need to fight this mech. Overall, this fight isn't too difficult, and I actually think it's even easier on the 3DS version, because its main form of attacking is summoning these pillars. There are also statues around the area that swing their arms at us, which can also deal damage. But for the most part, it's not too bad. On 3DS, if you have the 3D turned on, it's a lot easier to gauge depth perception, making it even easier to dodge all the pillars. So first of all, we need to destroy the outer coverings of the mech. So right now all that's left are the arms and the shoulders, and then we should be able to attack the head of the mech. This is a finite corridor, by the way. You can reach a dead end and crash, so be careful to get through this fight without taking too much damage, but also don't take too long, or else you will lose a life, basically, because there will be no more stage to fight this in. Alright, so it's definitely getting a little bit more aggressive now, I say as I immediately crash into multiple pillars and accidentally somersault. Which isn't great. Luckily we kept our wings, so we still have the double lasers, so we can still do a lot of damage. Alright, so the entire shell is gone, so now we can go for the core. I assume the glowing spot, as usual. A few more shots should be enough to take it down.
I'll go it alone from here.
Fuck!
I've been waiting for you, Star Fox. You know that I control the galaxy. foolish to come against me. You will die just like your father.
And this is Andross. So he mainly attacks by swinging his hands at us. He can also try to suck us into his mouth to deal damage. So as long as you manage to dodge all of his attacks, this isn't too bad. You can also use bombs to stop him from trying to suck you into his mouth, which also causes him to start waving his hands, giving you an opportunity to destroy his hands. If you manage to destroy his hands, it definitely makes the fight a lot easier. By the way, his weak points are his eyes, but if you start to attack his eyes, he'll also stop like that, giving you an opportunity to destroy the hands. Overall, this isn't too difficult. We actually don't have a health bar because Slippy isn't with us, but this shouldn't take very long as we manage to hold on to the upgraded lasers. Which we actually won't be able to because this attack will automatically destroy our wings. So that's not great, we're down to regular lasers, meaning this will take a little bit longer, but we still should be able to get through this in one piece if we play carefully. Remember to use bombs wisely. Let's try to destroy the hand, like so. So now he has a lot fewer attacks to work with, and we have plenty of bombs to easily get through this. I'm pretty sure the debris can also be destroyed for rings and like healing items. But overall, we should be able to get through this phase relatively quickly, as long as we manage to get through with a few more bombs in tow. And of course, it's not that easy. We now have to deal with Andross's true form. So we basically have to fire lasers at it and dodge its charging attacks. So overall, this phase isn't too difficult.
Fox, are you okay?
Yes! You did it!
Okay, I'll admit it. You did good, Fox.
And with that, we've reached the end of the lower path of Star Fox 64. Overall, that wasn't too bad. I think Sector X was actually the toughest level, at least that was closest we got to losing a life. But Venom is also fairly difficult. We kept so many bombs earlier in the playthrough that we were able to stagger Andross quite a bit in that first phase, which made it easier to get through there. If we didn't have as many bombs, it would have been a lot harder because we actually would have had to dodge to the corners in order to avoid getting sucked into his mouth. So yeah, if you don't have bombs, there are still ways to dodge that attack, but yeah, having bombs definitely speeds up the first phase considerably. Without Slippy to give us a health meter, honestly that went a lot faster than I expected, even with regular lasers. But this is still the easy route. There are plenty of other levels to see, which we will be going through. So even though we reached the credits, we are nowhere near done with this game. I do like how there are branching pathways to different worlds, with tons of different optional objectives as well for different paths, so you can kind of mix and match which levels you want to play. like you might be able to jump between paths instead of sticking just to the lower path like we did. It gives a lot of options for replay value when going for score attacks and things like that. So yeah, in general, Star Fox 64 is really fun. Even though it's a fairly short game on its own, there are lots of incentives to keep playing even after you reach the credits like this. It's kind of a nice sort of arcade-style game where the emphasis is on like high scores and continuing to get better at the game through practice.
Star Fox, we are in your debt. I would be honored to have you as part of the Cornerian...
Oh no, sir. We prefer doing things our own way.
Great Fox is ready to go.
It's time for us to go now.
This really is an iconic ending, for a few reasons. One, I like the aesthetics of them running, not towards the sunset, I guess, but parallel to the sunset. But there are some cool details in this scene, like Slippy, later on, will start to fall farther and farther behind the others, which is also something they bring back in later games. So yeah, overall, this is one of my favorite Nintendo 64 games. This is one of my favorite Star Fox games, even though I don't have much nostalgia for it. I started playing Star Fox with Star Fox Command for the DS, because that's what I had at the time. And years later, I would eventually play 64 through the Virtual Console, so even as someone who didn't really grow up with this game, it's still really fun to play through. It doesn't take very long, like a couple hours to go through most of the levels, and it's kind of a fun game to just play over and over to see if you can get better at it, and get better scores, and like get all the medals, keep all your teammates alive, and yeah, just kind of learn optimal routes to see how well you can do. But yeah, we're far from done with this. We still have medium route levels to go through, and then the hard route, which will be starting next time. And there are our final rankings for our first playthrough through the lower route. Overall, not great, partly because we did lose Peppy in Sector X, and my highest score on the Wii U Virtual Console version is 1,111 points, but that was on a different path. And one nice thing about this game is it saves the last initials you put in, which makes it a lot easier to input a high score. So yeah, we'll continue playing through more stages next time, so thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Star Fox 64.